What's up, buddy? What's up, Biz?
How the heck you doing? All right. Great to see you.
I'm good, buddy. Good to see you too. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Barstool Chiclets Cup. We got a huge tilt for you tonight from the Pine Barrens. We have the New Jersey Devil. Not sure if he's an interior decorator or not. Little shout out to the Sopranos there. And from the gateway to the west, it's the St. Louis E-Bug, Daddy Padre. Huge tilt here. These guys know what they're doing. Should be a hell of a matchup. I got to think Daddy Padre gets the nod just by dint of the roster. Welcome to the game, gentlemen.
Oh, a couple fist pumps there by NJ Devil. He's ready to go, man. Okay. And I'm going to say this, RA. 10 years ago, you'd ask me, where would I rather be on a Friday? I'd say, and at 6 p.m. rather that, I'd probably say coming out of Marquee Day Club and going to get ready for a nice dinner, then going out to the nightclub. But nowadays, it's right here, right now, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We got Daddy Padre, the E-Bug for the St. Louis Blues, and NJ Devil.
Just means we got old quick, Biz. It happens. That's what I tell the young kids. If you have any advice, I say you get old fucking faster than anyone told me when I was younger.
But I know I'm not going to wake up with any anxiety tomorrow because I'm going to have a blast watching this toe-to-toe matchup against two of the best, all right? So let's get right into it. We don't need the rules, do we? No, we don't need the rules. This is round 2.
I wonder if these guys must have played each other before on the circuit somewhere. No, Daddy.
Yeah, we've played before. He's a real solid player, honestly.
Some friendly banter.
I give a lot of credit, man, for playing with that outfit. I don't know how he does it. Like, it's tough enough playing this game as it is.
Okay,
I feel like I'm in the movie Gop here every time he has to talk.
Hey, all right, little tummy sticks going on before puck drop here.
Yeah, these guys are respected competitors. They've been going at it for a while.
Come on. Play into the tummy sticks, for crying out loud.
You got to think, the Blues Cup winners versus a non-playoff team, you got to think St. Louis just has a built-in advantage here. No, Biz?
Well, I was going to ask Tyler, because you can talk, unless NJ wants to write down on his board in the midst of this game. That might be giving Tyler the advantage. But considering his team is less, or not as good as yours in the game, do his skills overmatch yours maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. Like, teams definitely matter in this game. Like, if you play online, like in this mode, a lot of guys are using Tampa. They're using, Pitt. Okay. They're using all the, the big dogs pretty much. And this is like the first year in a while, honestly, they give the Blues finally some love. I guess it took us winning the Cup for that to happen.
That's true. Yeah, in the first half of last year, the rankings would have looked like New Jersey's. Suck it, NJ.
Well, back in the 93-94 NHL days, Biz, like the St. Jose Sharks, Ottawa Senators, those teams were so bad. So, like, you would use them just to try to get better at the game. You would play with those teams, but they were so bad. Oh, we got to score. Jibber jabbering. There we go. Who's that? Ryan O'Reilly, was it?
Oh, my goodness. This guy does it all. Plays the guitar. He's handsome. He probably acts. He's a leader on and off the ice. Makes me sick. Some guys are
upstairs, Daddy.
Yeah, he couldn't beat me today though in 2-on-2. We scrimmaged and I beat his team.
Who's this?
All right.
So how many times have you been the E-Bug?
So last time I was on, I know you weren't on. I was telling them I only got to dress for one game. I was like the first E-Bug to do a warm up. So I did it against Dallas like 2 years ago when the first season they had it. And that was pretty cool. And like the media blew it up. Like a lot of the writers here, like they know I skate with the guys and stuff. So they were like really happy for me and whatnot. The Blues kind of pumped it out there and I did a lot of interviews. I don't know. I just tried to soak it all up. I mean, you might never get to do that again. Right. So it's like,
yeah, the thing that's always crazy to me is that how the E-Bug can suit up for either team. That's just like the craziest thing to me. Like we saw it, last year, a guy played against his hometown team and fucking beat them in Toronto.
I know.
And of course his competitive juices are going to come through. I mean, well, as they should, but so it's just such a wild scenario that you can literally play for either team. That always blows my mind.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Alex Steen was joking about it, like literally like a week or two before it happened. Actually, it was when you guys were in town for the All-Star game. I was skating with them while the All-Star game was going on. Like a lot of the guys stayed in town, and we were just joking about that. And he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "If you ever get in, don't worry, Stu." He's like, "We'll go Game 7 defense for you, but if you're on the other team, we're lighting you up." I'm like, I don't think it's gonna matter. If you guys want to score, you guys are gonna score. Like,
I'm chuckling back at how you kind of glanced over when you said Ori. I was thinking you were talking about video games, but I didn't realize at this point in time you're still skating with them, and you glanced over the fact that your 2-on-2 squad beat Ori's.
Yeah, so that's funny too because Steiner, he was like, I was teasing him, like, you need to give me like a handicap or something. I'm going against Billy Huso, the guy who played in the AHL last year. He was like one of our stud prospect goalies. And so they were like, all right, if you let in 3, or if you let in 5, like that's like a win for us, or even three for them or whatever. So I was like,
wow.
Okay, cool. And then I ended up beating them today. So I felt pretty happy because it's tough to beat those guys, man. Like they try. I mean, people always like, they don't.
What
try
was the
that hard,
final? What was the final though?
5-3. So I
okay.
tried the reverse, but I was pretty happy with it. And Ori was laughing in the locker room. It was like teasing me about it. So, but he was on the other team, so it was pretty fun.
Good for you, man.
Hey, Biz, it's pretty appropriate. We have the New Jersey Devil on tonight. It was 7 years ago today that James Gandolfini, who famously played Tony Soprano, passed away. So it's kind of a subtle tribute here, and that's why I mentioned Pine Barrens in the intro.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to see if you saw on Twitter. I'd imagine. R.A., what did he pass? How did he pass away?
I think he just had a massive heart attack. I mean, he was a big guy. He wasn't like, he looked so big on the show, but he wasn't that tall of a guy. So he was a pretty heavy dude. And he was over in Italy, and he just fucking, I don't know if he dropped that or fell. I can't remember if he died in his sleep or whatever, but yeah, it was pretty quick, pretty sudden.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
He's a G.
Yeah, he was. It's too bad. I mean, he could have, he would have done everything in his power to get away from Tony Soprano after that. I mean, he did a romantic comedy with, what's her name? Julia Louis-Dreyfus right after The Sopranos, just to try to associate him with that role. I mean, he was tailor-made for it, but that guy had an incredible depth of talent. It is a shame that we lost him that young.
Yeah, it's kind of a blessing and a curse when you have a show that makes that big of an impact and you play the character you were born to play. Essentially, it's just like what's after. Everybody's going to compare it to that. So
yeah, I mean, right. I mean, he was a Jersey guy. He knew those people. It was right in his wheelhouse. We got 2-0. St. Louis doubles the lead. Ryan O'Reilly once again defending Selkie and Conn Smythe Trophy winner, getting it done on the video game circuit.
I just saw a picture. It might have been the anniversary that they won it a couple days ago. Was it not? The Blues?
Yeah, it was the other day.
It was the other day, and they put up a picture of Ryan O'Reilly at the NHL Awards. He's got the Selkie, he's got the Conn Smythe, he's got the cup, and then what else? Oh, and the Western Conference Trophy too. But
like the Campbell Bowl.
He's standing behind it. He just the boss. What?
The other day when we were skating, though, they brought up seeing you at the pool after they won in Vegas. Though they were talking about that in the locker room. Yeah,
I was going in. I was going in for the NHL awards.
Another
one. I completely crashed their party. I was there, but I was there a day early for the NHL awards.
Right. Yeah, they were talking about it in the room. They said that was just the start of everything. Yeah, because they flew right out there. I mean, they were out of here.
Oh, you mean that was the start of the Gong Show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They had a good, it was so cool to see how they integrated the celebration with like the fans and the people of the city. I mean, I would guess you could say that every team really does that, but for such a small town, St. Louis is a very small community, especially the hockey community.
Right. Yeah, it was cool. They all I've never seen it before because the Cardinals have won a few World Series here, obviously, even though RA's Red Sox beat us a few times. But
yeah, I was there in 2004.
That's when
did you sneak in the locker room already like you do with everything else?
No, believe it or not, I blew it that night. I ended up staying with a friend's girlfriend. My buddy passed out. He got so drunk, so his girlfriend was there. So me and her went out. And meanwhile, I found out the hotel right across the street basically had all the Red Sox, like fucking Drew Barrymore, Jimmy Fallon were all hanging out there. But I didn't know. This was before everyone had cell phones and could communicate instantly. So still a good time, man. I got to see them win it there.
Yeah, that was a tough series. But yeah, they were cool. They got out of the floats and everything. Cardinals never really did that. And they just, they interacted with all the fans. It was really cool the way they integrated everybody in the parade.
I think baseball guys are typically more shy, are they not?
Seems like it. At least the few that I've met. When I was in high school, I used to work at a car wash, and Pujols always came in there with his cars and a few other Cardinals, and he was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
The hockey guys always chat you up. Like Cam Jansen, he used to come to the car wash all the time, getting his cars washed and yapping for like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, of the four major sports, it's safe to say baseball guys are, have the least tough reputation of the four major sports.
Yeah. So before we got on here, Grinelli had a nice surprise. What's he saying? Did the game?
Oh. Cop speaking up. Yes, it did. 3-0 New Jersey Devil.
Geez.
Better go get what's his face?
Brophy's gonna get in the locker room and throw a cup of coffee at someone's face.
Looking for Paulie Walnuts, need an enforcer on the ice.
But before we got on here, Grinelli had a nice surprise, but I could tell he was stressed out. So I asked him, and he's like, "Oh, I got something cooking up." And then Daddy Padre ruined the surprise. Cam Jansen will be stopping by soon, apparently.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he's gonna give a verbal barrage to Tyler for
he will
for ruining the surprise.
Hey,
the next day on his radio show, the next day he was all tilted because he couldn't get his computer to work. He's like, I only got 10 minutes of FaceTime on there that night. I'm like, Cam, what do you want me to do? Figure out your computer. Like he's so stuck in like the 90s with his computer and stuff. I always tease him about it.
Let's take so Cam Jansen is not confirmed, but let's take a few fan questions if there's any good ones tonight. And maybe I could think of one to ask RA.
Ask me or ask in general?
RA, I was going to ask you when's the last time you took acid, but maybe that's a little bit much for a live stream.
College. I mean, yeah, I retired that in college. Okay. Other hallucinogens, maybe post-college, but hey, Biz, I got a lot of people asking me, why didn't you laugh at Biz's Hotline Bling joke? I'm like, I had to Google Hotline Bling. I don't know fucking shit about Drake. I'm like,
yeah, that's pop culture. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, it's I'm an old guy, man. I told you, my rap cutoff was like fucking West Coast, nothing but a G thing. That's about when I tapped out. So yeah, I'm not up to date on Drake.
Oh, is that Rudy? Oh, Rudy hopped on.
Oh, hey, what's up, boys?
What's up, bro?
Oh, shit.
What's up, guys? Hey, I didn't want to interrupt. I know you guys are playing a big game right now, but
here we go.
I was just listening to Nick Merckx. I'm not sure if you heard of him. He's on part of my take. Huge Twitch guy, massive personality.
Okay.
And one of the biggest arguments on Twitch that they were talking about that I don't really know the answer to is bear versus gorilla. Who wins in a fight?
Ooh, the animal or the like?
I would just think for mobility purposes, I think a gorilla would. It's just so much more agile. Like bears are fast straight on, but I feel like it's gonna be like it's more of like, yeah.
Yeah, no. So apparently this is a huge debate, and it's very much 50-50. Nick Merckx apparently says that a full-grown grizzly bear can get up to 2,000 pounds. And so it's just
whoa.
Yeah, exactly. And so a gorilla can only get up to 600. So it's a question of size versus opposable thumbs.
Yeah, I get bear because a bear has the huge giant paws, like with the huge claws, they can just scrape a gorilla to death. Gorilla might be stronger, or maybe not, but also the bear has a bigger jaw with a stronger bite too.
There's got to be a weigh-in.
I got bear minus 350.
There's got to be some sort of weigh-in here. Like if we're doing if you're telling me 2,000-pound bear, it's going to be tough not to pick the bear just on sheer weight. Well, 1,000-pound bear, I'm going gorilla.
Well, I think that what they set the debate at on part of my take was the world's largest gorilla versus the world's largest bear. So it's the upper end of both weight classes.
Well, then I guess we got to go bear for. I don't know enough more than what I've said as far as information. There might be some zookeeper who's like, "Oh, a gorilla," because they know MMA, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't know they knew MMA."
They know sign language, Biz. They're gonna fuck you up.
Do you want to hear what PFT said?
Yes, of course. He's a smart guy.
PFT said that he thinks that in a certain environment, a gorilla will know how to use a weapon.
Oh, 100%. I was just thinking that before you said it. Swear to God.
Yeah. So
I was thinking, like, is that in play?
Yeah. Well, it's tough to say. So, like, I think that if it's a natural environment and the gorilla is able to break off a branch, changes everything. Now you got to hope that you got a gorilla that's that intelligent. I don't know how. You know what I mean? I think like human beings, some of us aren't as smart. There's probably some dumb gorillas out there.
Like in an MMA fight, you're going bear, but in the natural environment, you're going gorilla.
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say in the octagon, bear.
Same.
In the wild, gorilla.
All right, thanks, Rudy. Thanks for stopping.
That's a good one, Rudy. Thank you, Biz. If you see a bear in the wild, it's like a rhyme. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. That's like kind of the little thing.
For polar bears?
Polar bears, if you see one of them, baby, you better fucking hope you got a fucking nice head start.
How much do those weigh?
They're monsters too. They get giant, but especially nowadays, they're probably hungry if they see a human that they try to eat you.
Oh,
4-1, 3-1, 3-4 leaders.
I didn't mean to do that. It's kind of an unwritten rule online where you don't, when the guy passes out with a goalie, you don't like shoot it right away in the empty net. But I did it out of bad habit from playing money games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like fucking wait for the whistle. Sorry, devil, but I don't know. No sympathy there.
That's an unwritten rule in Chell.
Yeah, unwritten rule.
Kind of. When you're playing like friendly games like this, I mean.
Oh my God, he's playing. That tells me he's playing with his food. That's a slap in the face, NJ.
Oh, another one. We got the route. We got the route. Tarasenko, he's going to be back for the playoffs. That's a huge addition for the Blues. Well, assuming we start on time or start whenever. And that's the thing too, Biz. The NHL isn't concerned with starting the playoffs at any particular time because they can't start anyway. So it's not like they're not going to cancel the playoffs. They're going to play the playoffs, then take a break, and then start the season because if they don't want to start a season with no fans. I think people are missing that. The NHL is so much willing to reboot the schedule going forward. So it's like, well, if we're going to wait, let's wait for the fucking playoffs and then do the regular season 2 months later. Sorry.
Love it.
Rant.
Oh, no, I love it. I love how that's your blue collar hockey fan right there. That's how passionate he is about it. And of course, he's that drives the bus on one of the biggest hockey podcasts in the world too. So that's probably where it comes from. But going back to Tyler, you mentioned the gambling aspect. How is there gambling going on in this underground Twitch streaming world?
There's like a website we kind of all play on. I won't give any free ads out, but it's a pretty good website and it's like secure and everything. So you don't get like screwed over by people trying to not claim a win or whatever. So we all gamble on there. You can just like me and you, if we were going to play, we both put up $10. Site takes obviously a little bit of a fee. And, and if I win, I take your $10 and it just goes right in my account. You take it out through PayPal and get it the next day. It's really easy. But
is it connected to the system or does somebody have to watch the game and verify?
No, so if someone tries to scum someone over like that, you would just send in proof. Like usually a lot of the guys, a lot of us trust each other, right? So we know that no one's gonna screw us over. But if I'm playing like a random guy and I'm playing for like $100+ bucks, I'm gonna take pictures of like the game on my console just to make sure. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so do you need like a casino license or something, or is it just some random company?
You just need to have like your address and your driver's license, and once you make over $600 in a year, they tax you on it if you're in America, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
Foolish. That number's so fucking old. It drives me crazy.
I know.
It's so stupid.
Are we getting another rant, all right?
Dude, that whole rule, like you can't fly with more than $10,000, or if you're going through TSA, they can question you with more than $10,000 and fill out a slip. That number was decided in 1971, and not once has it been adjusted for inflation. $10,000 today is nothing. People go to Vegas with $100,000, they're shocked. So the idea that you have to get written up for $10,000 from a number from 40 something years ago, absolute joke. Sorry.
Okay.
That's sorry. I get heated with this shit, dude.
Save it for the podcast. Jesus, all right. But don't you have a gambling story about going to Vegas and having to fly with more than 10K?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I had multiple ticket cash, and I didn't want to have to go through like metal detector and have them like be like, oh, you have this like more than $10,000 in your shorts.
Humble brag.
We're going to have to write it up. So I went to the old school metal detectors where like you didn't like have to do the total recall thing where they can see through your fucking skeleton. And I got through the gate on the other side. My brother had the other half. And once we got to the gate, I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Like, because the thing is like, I'm not getting taxed on like this. I could have lost $30,000 across the street the night before. Now you're going to tax me on this fucking win. It's so stupid the way they do it.
All right, man. You are rolling right now.
Dude, I get so aggravated with it.
Let's take some questions and lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Although that was a nice little humble brag from RA about being
still managed to not say how much I won.
Rain Man status.
I tell people in private, you know that, Biz.
Oh yeah.
All right, we got a blowout here. The New Jersey Devil, like he needs a little something.
Hey, you must have had too much Death Wish coffee before you came on here. Jesus, Biz, would you rather wear skates on the wrong feet or no shin pads for one whole game? Oh, would you rather?
Wow.
In an NHL game, oh my God, if you take one off the shin, imagine Bufflin wiring a clapper and get you right in the shin bone.
Well, for you, Biz, it's only 3 minutes a game, so it's not that bad. It's only a few shifts.
Shin pads. Shin pads. Thank you, all right. That's like you stepped in with the PFT gorilla weapon thing.
Fuck. And the Blues add another one. The New Jersey Devil might be getting whacked tonight if this continues at this
Honestly,
pace.
this is pathetic. I thought this was going to
go right
way better.
Go right in your world according to Got Board once again.
Okay, here's another one. Was Tyler on the ice for the fight between Sanford and Bobby Bertuzzo? Or Berube?
I wasn't. I was bummed. Well, I don't know if I was bummed, but I kind of wanted to see it.
Okay, but they had a backup. They said, or Craig Berube story. Chief.
I'm trying to think, Chief. It's kind of funny. Like last year, I skated during the regular season. I usually don't skate with the full team unless like something bad happens, like a random injury or like the guy wants a day off, which isn't very often. But I got to skate for like an entire week just because it was actually this year. They wanted to give Benner a blow and just like let him, rest a few games on the bench and then also, not do anything in practice. So all the media here was freaking out, because obviously Benner had an unreal run last year and, he's like the top dog now here. And so like they wouldn't let me go in the locker room because they were like worried the media was gonna like bug me. So I saw like the media clippings like Chief. They were like, so how did Stewie do today? And they're like, I don't know who you're talking about. And they're like, oh, the goalie that was here. He's like, we got a prospect here. He was just playing dumb with them. Like Chief, he's just so like mild mannered, doesn't show any emotion, doesn't say much. And then it's funny because then you see him on the bench and he is just so intense.
Oh yeah.
He gets so fired up sometimes. Some of the clips, it's unreal. It's like the beast in him comes out because back in the day, like I never realized like how crazy he was with that mullet and the teeth and everything. I mean,
he was a scary man.
He was a bad mofo when he played.
I wouldn't have survived a minute in those days. Those guys fighting those guys every night. Oh my God, my face. You think this is bad, already?
Oh God, it was savage.
It'd be on the other side of my head.
All right, oh my bad, bitch. You remember Todd Ewan?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Anaheim.
He was my college. He was my college coach actually. Like when I played club at St. Louis University, he had some awesome stories about just fighting and whatnot. And it's so interesting, like because it's being around Chaser and just a lot of those guys, like people like the fighters are just they have so much personality and they have so many things they do off the ice. I don't think people like realize like how creative. Like Todd was like he'd show us like how he, like the Anaheim Ducks. That was like the inaugural team he was on. He like showed us how he designed their jerseys because he was like a part-time graphic designer.
No shit, really?
Yeah, it was just like cool stuff like that. But he had some awesome stories too when I played for him. And obviously, God rest his soul.
Speaking of graphic design, I did one of these with Sportsnet called the Bracket Challenge, and we had Zach Aston Reese on who plays
the extra point. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. You're good. Zach Aston Reese came on from the Penguins, and he actually, when he was in college, he took graphic design, and when he was a healthy scratch, he ended up designing a program for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think it was for their St. Patrick's Day program. All right, you should get a hold of that. All right, it's like a cool little memento.
I'm down for it anymore. Although I did throw out so much shit when last time I moved. You just accumulate so much shit the older you get. It's like, oh man, you realize you start dragging stuff around for like 10, 20 years.
Okay, so if for those of you who've never seen RA's house, I believe it's been on a couple clips, right? Your old one?
The old one, yeah. Back when we were like the Wayne and Gott setup, yeah.
Especially stepping in downstairs, you had like quite a bit of posters. You have a lot of ball caps. What is your number, or list your 5 top memorabilia possessions?
That's a good one. Mostly posters, man. Like when I worked at my uncle's video store back in the late 80s, early 90s, I saved certain posters. Like you can only get these posters if you worked at video stores back then. And I saved them, and I'm like, I'm going to frame these someday when I have my own place, and these are going to be in my like room. And when I have these framed in on my wall, that's like kind of like my sign of being an adult. And I had 2 Godfather posters, Godfather and Godfather Part 2, and a Star Wars poster that came out in like 1989. And I tucked these under like, not lock and key, but tucked them in a safe spot under plastic. And then I got them framed, and then like I put them up in my man cave. So like, probably, I know it sounds corny, but probably like these posters that I held on to. They were kind of like a symbolic thing of like me finally like not being a fucking child anymore.
Are they in mint condition still?
Yeah. They've been in the frame. I mean, they since I moved the last place, I haven't had somewhere to put them yet, but I have them like underneath wraps. They're still very good ones. Oh, and I have a Mick Jagger. It was actually an art piece when I was down getting married. We went to some like weird art studio, and there was like a Mick Jagger picture from like '69 tour. It was more than I usually spend, but it was kind of this artistic thing, and I have that too. So yeah, basically just like shit like that, like that I hang on my walls. I got rid of all baseball cards and books and all that other shit. You get old, you realize, like, I haven't touched the stuff in 20 years, man. Why am I carrying it more?
Did you ever get a Bobby Orr jersey?
I bought one off like who's that friggin' Mitchell and Ness? They sell all the old school jerseys. Yeah, they were doing I would never pay like freight face for them. They were doing a huge sale, so I got like a Bobby Orr jersey, but I never got it signed or anything.
Is that it? Is that the first game there?
Yep, we got 1-0 after one. We got a big game here. The New Jersey Devil need to win this one to stay alive. Ironically enough,
Tyler, thoughts? Do you think that was? Do you think that was NJ's best or what?
I don't know. I've only played him once, but it was still pretty tough. I don't know. I mean, he gets some chances. I don't know. It's tough to tell. Like, I haven't played him.
You're too nice for the gaming world. We're gonna start game 2. All right, we missed the last question, and it was your craziest college story. Let's try to keep this one concise, though.
Wow. Dude, my one regret, my father told me I should have kept a journal when I went to college, and I didn't, and I wish I did, because you just don't remember fucking stuff years later. But there's not one thing. It was just like the whole insanity. Like back before, when I went early 90s, it was before like binge drinking was a term. Like there was no like, oh, people shouldn't drink to this much. So everyone was just shit-faced all the time. It was just a huge party from Tuesday through Sunday. And just the whole experience is crazy. I'm sure if I sat down and thought, maybe not stories I want to tell now, but yeah, there was a lot of crazy shit, but it was just par for the course. Everybody, it was like a giant high school.
I wouldn't have lasted in college. I would have partied myself into oblivion. I'm happy I went the route I went.
Yo, Biz, you did the Sportsnet game the other day with Dunner, right?
Vince Dunn against Werenski. Werenski is a very good player.
Yeah, he's one of the best by far. If I had to
say. So Vince Dunn is like one of the top COD players around, isn't he?
Yeah, Fortnite. He won both NHLPA like events they did with Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas. They did like a big NHL thing, and Dunner's like, he's nuts on it, man. He grinds hard though. I mean, he really plays it. He's got like all set up. He's got his own stream and everything. And
how many followers does he have on there on his Twitch?
I don't know how many I never checked the followers, but you kind of just with Twitch, you kind of just go by views, right? So he's usually averaging, I'd say anywhere from 200 to 400. Honestly, he gets a decent amount. Like he's
200 to 400,000.
No, sorry, 100. Just
not
100, yeah. And like the thing is, like with Twitch, like that's good enough to where with subs and stuff. I mean, if he wasn't in the NHL, he could literally like make a decent like little side hustle on it. You know what I mean?
Well, he won both tournaments. I think he got paid.
The Blues pick up where they left off last game, Biz.
Yep.
Quick 1-0 lead early in the first hit. The New Jersey Devils struggling once again. No surprise there, given the disparity in rosters.
Another great start.
I feel bad for the Devil. He can't talk smack because he has to put his thing down and talk on the grease board or whatever.
He's like any man. He can't do two things at once. Other than Tyler. Tyler's a freak. He can jibber jabber, put the puck in the net. I like doing sound effects on these streams. Ooh-wah.
I noticed Tyler went to the old school Blues back in the mid-'90s from the Wayne Gretzky era.
Yeah, I had to throw these on for you guys. I know Biz and Whit loved them, so I had to throw them on one more time. We don't get to wear them too often in real life, so.
Okay, let's do this. Let's rifle through some questions. Tyler, how did you become selected to be an e-bug?
So, I'll just try to do it quick. So, back when the last lockout happened, they Jarl Halak went over to Germany. Brian Elliott was here. There's probably about 12, 14 guys skating. And my coach, Todd Ewan, obviously used to play in the NHL. They asked Todd, hey, like, does one of your goalies want to come out? And he immediately asked me, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I was skipping a class every morning just to go out there with the guys. I mean, back then it was just like, can't believe I'm skating with freaking NHL players. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, obviously since then it's kind of wore off and everything, but they, that's kind of where I like put my, feet down with it. And Jamie Rivers was running the skates. You guys obviously had Rivs on before. And Sean Farrell, before then, he was in the video coach for us. So he ended up becoming the video coach. So I kind of just kept in touch with Sean. He had me do a few summer skates, did a few prospects camps, just being pretty much like a shooter tutor dummy. And then it led to the whole e-bug thing. And I was like done playing goalie. I was so fed up with playing men's league goalie. Like all my buddies can get trashed at the games, and I got to sit there and get left out to dry. And I was like, I'm done. I'm playing out. You
could have gotten trashed. That would have been all right. Could you imagine that? He's on e-bug. He's like, you know what? Fuck it.
Anyone bugs me, I'm gonna piss all over
crushing
myself.
beers. They're having a blast. It's like a tie game. The crowd's going nuts and stuff. And then boom, 2 goalies. Boom, boom.
So they asked me. They were like, I was like done. Like I was ready to play forward, like defense or forward in my men's league. I was just wanting to have fun and play out. I mean, I played goalie my whole life, and all of a sudden I got a call one day from the Blues, and they're like, "Hey, Tyler Stewart." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, we have this new position. It's called the emergency goalie that we're putting in place, and every team has to have it. It's pretty much the Marty Brodeur rule because they created it because the Blues used to have Brodeur on their staff, right? And every other team thought it was unfair that Marty was our e-bug technically, Hall of Fame goaltender, best goalie ever, and they thought it was unfair, so they put in the rule, and you have to be an amateur. You could never have played pro. And
that is such a ridiculous rule to put in.
I know. You were like, so wait
ridiculous.
a minute. So one guy pulls his muscle in tryouts, and another guy gets the shits during the game, and I get to play in an NHL game? Sure. Where do I sign?
Listen, I love the idea of the e-bug. I think it's so ridiculous, and it creates. Listen, asking GMs and players what they think is a different story. As a fan, I think that. But the fact that they put the rule in place that Marty couldn't be it is crazy.
Yeah, and like when you guys had Ayers on, I was really happy for David. Obviously, I mean that's really cool, and everything worked out great. A lot of the constructive, I guess, criticism from the whole thing was just like they thought he was throwing the game at first because he came right in and let up 2 goals, and I get it. Like the 1 goal didn't look great, obviously, but it was the people don't get like it's a time commitment. I mean, I go to 41 games a year if I can, and that's every home game. I mean, I try to make it happen with whatever. I mean, I already.
Geez, sounds terrible. Especially when you're going through a cup run.
I know. I'm not trying to make it. Well, dude,
could you imagine? Hey, all right, these are he's probably got fans on here being like, "You don't know how good you got it."
He obviously makes more doing that than he would playing underground shell all night, right?
No, we don't get anything. Like, I mean, it's people think like it's like a pay thing. It's unpaid. Like, I try to work it around my job, and like I'm married too and stuff. So it's like I gotta make that all work and whatnot. But
they don't even give you a stipend just for like being there that night. That's just like you get the free game. That's it.
Yeah, this free game. My tickets are covered, and I get parking, but you kind of need parking. I mean,
my goodness, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's why I was like, give it to. I thought you guys got 500 no matter whether you win or weren't.
No, nothing, man. It's tough, and like when you practice too. I mean, you get the crap. I mean, you remember like if you had a guy come out probably in Arizona or wherever. I mean, you get the crap beat out of you, man, and it's a brutal practice because you're not. It's not the shots that Jakey and Benner are getting where they're coming in and just warming up the hands. I mean, I'm getting ripped by my ears.
All right, I'm gonna start an e-bug union.
Dude, you took the fucking words right out of my mouth. I'm like, this is gonna start an e-bug union.
I'm
only
coming for you, Batman. I'm coming for you. Cut the tape, Ellie. I'm coming for you, Batman. We're starting an e-bug union.
Fucking
I want
hilarious.
$100, 2 beers, and some nachos.
20% of your cut.
And I want some beer and nachos too.
No, you guys say that, but man, honestly, like after that happened, like a lot of people were mad about like how he was the least guy, right? But he played for the Canes, like, and that's where I kind of like I think in the future I almost wonder, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you guys kind of brought it up on the podcast when you had him on, like, will there be a position in the future like a bullpen type of catcher, a guy that goes on the road with the guys?
Yeah, they'll do it eventually.
Yeah, and I hope I'm waiting around for that. Honestly, like I hope that happens because it'd be.
Whoa, back it up. But in that case, they're gonna have legit probably like a McKenna, like a retired goalie.
Yeah, but McKenna told me he didn't want to do it.
Okay, I would imagine that teams, if that was the case and they were actually paying someone like a decent salary, right. I would imagine that they probably like have someone with some type of professional experience. That would be my assumption. And that's not dunking on you either. Like
no, I agree.
Christ, I couldn't even be an e-bug player at this point. Like in an NHL game, I'd break my hip right now. I don't even have any ACLs left.
The New Jersey Devil has seen better days so far. He's been outscored, I believe, 10-1 in 4 periods so far. St. Louis with a commanding 3-0 lead going into the second period. Could be an early night for all of them.
Here, how about this one? And I know it's not Chiclets related, but hopefully it'll lead to him getting on the podcast. Budweiser Canada is one of our major sponsors, and I love working with them. I did this grilling show with them, and I got to work with Joe Thornton, RA.
Nice.
Although the question I did ask him, and the video releases tomorrow. It was him and Brent Burns in a cook-off against each other. So I'll be posting that on my social media. But what was the question again you wanted me to ask him?
Which player had the most impact on his career early on? I believe, was that it, right?
And he answered Jason Allison.
Yep. Yeah, I was kind of and when you said that, it was kind of interesting because they had very, very similar games. Like Allison loved to pass; he didn't like to shoot as much as he had a great shot, but he was more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. They had very, very similar games, so I thought that was a very interesting answer.
You know what he said? He goes, "Well, I didn't know this, right? I'm thinking, okay, this guy was, he's had as many points as he had. He probably just came in the league and started ripping it up. You forget how he maybe didn't struggle a little bit, but didn't really get much ice time in his first year." So what he did was he said, I sat there in the middle of the bench and I watched Jason Allison. I just watched what he did. When he practiced, I asked him questions. And he said Allison was unbelievable to him. And as you said, he just kind of mimicked his game off of him.
Yeah, they played I think 3 seasons together. They were together for a little longer than people maybe think. And then Bruins traded Allison. He wanted a lot of money and an injury started catching up with him. But he was probably one of the most underrated players of his era, Jason Allison, until, like I said, his wrist started getting all banged up and he just couldn't perform the way he was for a while, but he was a great player.
So I was joking around with him saying, "Oh, you're doing all these TikToks now," because his daughter posted a TikTok of him losing his beard, and he's like, "Oh, you know me, I love the social media." He goes, he said he's sent about 7 emails in his life.
Yeah,
could you imagine? It must be nice and relaxing to be that dialed out of what's going on all the time.
Well, it's like some of my friends. I never, ever assume guys my age listen to podcasts just because there are so many guys my age who don't. I'm kind of more technologically advanced than probably a lot of guys my age. So when friends say, "Oh, I listen," I'm kind of surprised that old and fucking into technology.
And another thing, Jason Allison, extremely underrated. And Grinnell just posted this on this chat group we have. And he said, people forget Jason Allison put up 90 points one year, 95 points in 2000, 2001. So, and those were the days where points were hard to come by. It was prison rules out there.
Oh, absolutely, man. You were getting fucking molested by 3 defensemen all the time. He was a good player.
Let's get a couple more questions. You guys have been asking some. Asking some. I say asking.
Asking. You've been asking some fair questions.
I'm talking like the guy from Planet Earth. Oh my goodness.
Let's see. I heard you all talk about lacrosse in the last podcast. Do you all follow the sport at all? The PLL is taking the Olympic time slot on primetime NBC this summer. I know next to nothing about lacrosse, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know a lot about it. I'd watch it if it was on, but it was just one of those sports that wasn't popular when I was growing up. So I'm not too familiar with it. What about you, Biz?
Do I know anything about lacrosse? I tried out for the Vancouver Warriors professional lacrosse team this year for the NLL. And if it wasn't for politics, I would have made it. They stabbed me in the back and cut me. So yes, I know a lot about lacrosse. And actually, I've been talking to Grinnelli because Grinnelli said PFT and Big Cat, they actually purchased a team. So they own a team in that league. I might talk to, how do you say his last name? Vrabel? Grinnelli's going to help me out.
Mike Grable. Yeah, the coach of the Tennessee Titans. Rabel, the V silent.
And a very, very good player in himself.
It's Paul Rabel, boys. Paul Rabel.
Rabel. Jesus Christ. Sorry, it's been a long week, guys. But he's doing an unbelievable job. And what a time for a sport that maybe isn't popular in the United States to take the limelight if they're able to do it in a safe manner.
Yeah, and if there's gambling on it, that's one way to get people to watch for sure.
All right, would you buy a team? Imagine you as an owner, you'd be crazy. You'd be like the Russian owner coming in with the rifle.
Maybe 25 years ago, I might have had a little more fun with it. Now I'm a fucking boring old guy now.
All right, great question. You guys are buzzing.
All right, do you think the Rangers can actually hang with Carolina and possibly make a run? You know what? This is probably going to be the most wide open playoffs ever, just given that guys are going to be so rested. I think teams are going to be on probably more of an even level than they've ever been because they're not coming off a 82-game schedule going right into the playoffs. So honestly, anything could happen in these playoffs. Nothing would surprise me. I wrote in a blog, the Bruins could get knocked out in the open round or go to the Cup final. No one should get fired for any team either way because it's just such a huge X factor. So no, if the Rangers went on a run, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
They got the MVP on their team.
Yeah, one of them.
I'm just kidding, Oilers fans. I think Draisaitl's going to take it.
Do you guys think it's time to give the lock in the C in Detroit? Do you see a benefit of waiting longer?
Christ, I thought he already had it. Yes, he's getting the C for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's waited long enough, no?
I think that what do they do? They waited 1 full year to give Oliver Ekman-Larsson the C, and I think it's been what, two years since nobody's had it there. Help me out, all right? Maybe 3.
Yeah. I think off the top of my head, I don't know if it's 2 or 3, but no one has it right now. And I don't know. I mean, if the guy's going to be there for a while, then I don't see what the fucking delay is.
What I love about Detroit as an organization, and it was exactly how they used to develop, is I feel they think like giving that you're coming after Lidstrom, you got to groom him, and I think that giving him the C might have put a lot of pressure on him given the climate and what that team's now going through. I think now that they're probably going to be coming in on the uptrend with Stevie Y in the mix, I think now is the perfect time to give it to him. So he's well deserving, and I actually thought he got it this year, but definitely the next guy in line.
All right, New Jersey Devil trying hard not to get whacked right now, down 4-0 in the third period. He needs to come back to win this and then win another game. Going to be a tough comeback here for him, Biz.
Snooze fest. NJ Devil, I'm so disappointed. I thought you were going to give the E-Bug a run for his money, but this is a great question. What is a fair return for Jack Eichel?
Oh, another fucking one. Another one, as you say, a fair return for Jack Eichel. For number 1 draft picks, a roster player and a prospect. I mean, like that's what you'd get. I mean, if you sign them on an offer sheet, you'd get fucking 4 draft picks. I think. Honestly, the formula's changed so much. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, man, I don't know, 4 picks, a top 6 guy and a prospect. He's that good right now. I mean, he's a top 5 player in the game. I never, unless a guy's on the last year of his deal and he's not sure if he's coming back, like let's say a Taylor Hall situation, I don't see the team trading away a player of that status ever getting fair return. It's just I just don't think it happens. So I mean, it would have to be, but even first round draft picks mean nothing. Elliot Friedman talked on our podcast about the drop off after the first 2 picks of the NHL draft, and it's significant based on elite talent. So I don't know, man, like an elite prospect defenseman, an elite prospect forward, and maybe a couple first rounds, because like that's assuming that they're maybe going to get to that level, which we know there ain't a lot of them. There's a handful. You would need at least 3 live bodies, though. I think, like I'm talking like 2 top 6 guys and like a top pair, top 3D for starters. I think just to get in the conversation.
Who are already in locked up deals for at least 2 years.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming Jack's locked up for several more years. So.
No, right, but I'm saying is like the return. You got to be getting players who are on fair deals, who make impacts in the lineup, and you'll be able to have them for at least 3-4 years, the 2 minimum. And the reason I say that is we talk about Buffalo all the time. It's a place that there's not a lot of incentive to stay there. So and also come as a free agent unless you're offering big money. So that's such a spider web of a question, but a great one.
Yeah, and the Blues just piling it on right now. I mean, this is a little bit of a blitzkrieg. All right, Biz and RA, top 3 jerseys currently in NHL. Listen, I know it's a cliche to say the Blackhawks have the best jersey, but I've been saying it for 40 years, and I can't really change my mind. The red jersey in particular. Who else? Shit. Wait, what do you?
Kachina.
Yeah, Kachina. That's funny. I always say how no one liked it before, but now everyone likes it. What about you, Biz? What do you got?
If we can go throwbacks, I love the Quebec Nordiques jersey. That blue, and I will say even the jerseys that the Blues had this year that were a throwback, that were that very similar blue, I like those as well. Of course the Kachina, but you said when I have the headphones on, sometimes I can't pronounce my A's for some reason.
I like Minnesota's. I've always been a fan of theirs. It's very divisive.
For you, Biz. So,
I would say Hartford Whalers would be my last answer. Hartford Whalers.
Are they going to bring back the white Kachina? That's the big question. We need to see that.
I don't know. I think I like the black one better.
Really?
Ronak. They need to if they bring back the white one, they got to do that thick collar, the one that JR had on.
True.
And I think Rick Tocchet wore it as well. It's like a thicker collar. The one thing about the jerseys they make nowadays is they're a little too like thin. They should make the slender old style. Remember how tough those were to rip, RA? The old school ones?
You know who the Coyotes played in their first game as franchise history, in their franchise history, Biz?
I would assume Nashville.
Nope. Hartford Whalers down in Hartford. That was the very first game in Phoenix Coyotes history down in Hartford.
Oh, okay. So their first home game might have been against Nashville.
Yeah, maybe it might have been that, but their very first game was actually in Hartford, and that was Hartford's last year in Hartford before they went to Carolina.
And was Pronger on the team still?
In 97. It was 96, 97. He was gone.
Yeah, he was here. Yo, Biz, do you think? What do you think about Halsey? You think he stays there?
Oh, this put such a damper on everything. The quarantine and shutdown, because I feel if Coyotes were able to have a good run at the end of the season, mind you, 8 of their last 12 games were at home. So I think that they could have snuck in, and if they would have won a couple rounds, because they got Darcy Kemper back, he's their number one. I think living here in the atmosphere, and once he saw the impact that he had in playoffs, I think there's a chance. But I think it's going to be difficult. But hopefully Chaika can work his magic and bring him back.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair answer at this point.
I just wonder how many teams can actually sign him to that max 8-year too. You know what I'm saying? And at the price he wants. I feel like the Yotes have the money to do it if they're willing.
Well, you know who can do it? Buffalo Sabres, because they got a lot of money left, and that would be a nice little addition to Jack Eichel on the wing. And I mean, he lives in Toronto. It's not far from home. I'm selling the dream to you Sabres fans. I hope you're really embracing this. All right, that was a good sell job, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. Hey, like we say, we root for every team. We love Sabres fans. We wish they were better. I mean, we don't wish anything bad on them. We love Jack. We wish things were better for him, but there's some fucking issues right now with that squad, and things don't get fixed overnight, unfortunately.
Well, it was more like selling the dream that I don't know, man. If money talks and that's what he's interested in, he's definitely going to be able to get it in Buffalo.
Yeah,
and I will say, just from watching him, he creates on his own. He was still there, and he was surrounded by some. I think he was clicking more offensively when he got to Arizona. He didn't have the best start to the year in New Jersey.
Biz, I think it might be time to dust off the funeral gift where the guys are dancing with the coffin on their shoulders, and might have to put New Jersey Devil in it right about now. A couple minutes left here, for less than 4. We got an 8-0 lead after a 7-0 victory. Hey, it was a good run for the Devil, but Daddy Padre's a tough out, and he's got a tough squad.
He won 1 series. It was a good run.
Oh, I mean, fuck it. With that roster, no disrespect, but I mean, it's all going by NHL, dude. They got one of the lowest scores. I'm not being a dick. I mean, numbers never lie.
We are just nah.
I mean, cup team versus non-playoff team, man. I'm not trying to be a dick, but poor guy, Tony Soprano anniversary. He's getting whacked. Gonna drown his sorrows in Newark tonight.
We need to put on Gloria, boys. All right, what'd you think of that Gloria thing last year? Because I'm sure that song came out back in your day.
Oh, that was huge.
I never heard this. I never heard of the song until the Blues started playing it. It was
Gloria it was huge. And the woman Laura Branigan, she might have had one other hit. She wasn't quite a one-hit wonder, but that song was absolutely huge. So when it came back, it was the craziest story too. They were at some Italian club in Philly or a bar or something in Philly, and it started playing on a jukebox, and that even just added to the legend. But I thought it was hilarious just because it was such an ancient song that I didn't know I was going to hear at that level again.
Yeah, it was.
Who sings it?
Laura Branigan. I believe she is no longer with us.
There you go, Biz.
Oh, there we go.
Dust it off.
Oh yeah.
Now all we need is YT to come out in his Budweiser store and start dancing.
We don't. Yeah, we don't want to get DMCA'd or whatever the fuck that's called, DCMA.
Oh, okay. So you can't play music.
They're gonna get us sued by the estate of fucking the writer.
I'm in Grinelli's doghouse. Grinelli, can you come on the stream?
That's coming out of Biz's salary. That's coming out of his cut.
I'm sorry, Grinelli.
I love you, Biz. It's okay.
All right.
That's all right. We're
Padre just putting on a show tonight,
seriously,
boys.
man. New Jersey Devil. I mean, he already had a red ass, but it's even redder now. 10-0. 10 seconds left.
I think Daddy Padre made a statement tonight. This was a statement to the rest of the Chiclets Cup, and I think more in particularly a statement to Nasher that he's coming. He's coming for that ass.
Whoa!
I do want
it's a kid show.
Okay. Wow. So I wasn't expecting that. I'm a little flabbergasted that you're throwing shots at Nasher because I'm a big Nasher fan. Oh my God, a throat slash from Tony over here.
10-0. Holy shit. 17-1. That's a tough outing, but hey, you know what? He showed up.
At least you didn't lose 20-1.
To Zach Wierenski.
Hey, Mikey, you got a lot better though. We need to get Biz on we need to get Biz an Xbox and start having him play with the song.
I'm gonna start.
You would rinse these kids online chirping them the way these kids chirp. I would love to have you in a party with these kids.
Dude, they just tell you okay boomer and that's it.
Dude, Tyler, how funny would it be when we're playing like EASHL if we had Biz in there just chirping these kids?
I'd be as long as they subscribe, I'd be their punching bag. They just come to like let out all their aggression on me.
You go back post, I'll feed you. Grinelli was smacking his stick on the ice the other night, and I just fed him like a Gerber baby. And that's where you need to go, buddy.
Very true. Very true. The Song Daddies, baby. Tune in.
Hey, I want in the Song Daddies. I gotta get an Xbox, or is it Xbox or PlayStation?
We play on Xbox.
Okay, I'll get an Xbox. NJ Devil, on a serious note, best of luck with everything. We hope hockey's back for you guys sooner than later. Well, at least playoff hockey. Oh yeah, you guys aren't in the playoffs.
Oh shit! Fucking go fuck Diddy up.
Burn in hell! Burn in hell!
See no evil.
Tyler, we'll see you next round.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, boys.
Congrats,
subscribe.
Have a good weekend, everybody.